Welcome back, my YouTube family. How's everybody doing? Thank you for all the new faces that are coming to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to turn a Burl here. As you can see, this thing is anything but round. And this thing gave me a real surprise at the end for what the outcome was, to be honest, and the shape. But the biggest, hardest thing is finding a center to start. You see me doing that right here, marking it with a little piece of chalk so I can see, and going over to that milling machine. That makes short work of me using a Forstner bit to be able to drill out a 2 1/8 inch hole to then grab with my Barracuda chuck, which you guys will see after this. But I just want to quick stress again how nice this milling machine is because of how rigid it is and how a Burl is an uneven surface to start, and that would just be such a hard task on a drill press, or let alone trying to even think of drilling it by hand. But again, milling machine made short work of it, so I was able to kind of hollow out a hole, and I had to also bore out around the hole you'll see here so that I could get the face of the chuck actually inside further to then grip the 2 1/8 inch hole that I needed to then grab with the Barracuda, like you've seen there. So I got the Burl chucked up on the lathe and it was ready to start turning. Burls are pretty cool because they're like a present. You just don't know what you're going to find inside, and it could be really nice, or you could open it up and be really discouraged. Kind of like a present. But I start out with the bottom of the bowl or whatever I'm trying to attempt. I'm putting on my face shield here because these things are just so out of shape and out of center that it's just scary. Anything can come flying off, and if you turn in general, you should really have a good face shield on. I used to have a metal rack over the lathe, but that just got in the way so much. So the long process of carving this thing down to be able to form whatever I'm thinking here, and sometimes it actually doesn't come to you until you start literally just diving into the piece of what you want this to become. And this one was, again, I didn't have much room to work with because the Burl wasn't very round and deep, so I had to come up with an alternative of thinking something that is still useful and presentable for the beauty of the grain that was inside this thing, but something that was gonna fit in the size of Burl that this is. And again, you just don't know these things until you really open this up. So the closest thing I can think in my mind is like this mushroom almost. It's almost like like a curled up mushroom, and it looks really cool. All this pith pocketing ingrown bark that I was able to keep. It's all intact, solid. And what a beautiful, it's like I don't want to call it a saucer because it's not thin like a saucer, but like a platter with like a really oblong pan handle here that I'm sanding. That was all off-centered, and the whole outer edge is all the irregularities and natural outer formation of the tree, and it's really cool to be able to keep that, present that as itself. You guys can see here some of the discoloration and ingrown bark and curl and just a little bit of everything, literally. So because the piece was so out of round, I had to sand a lot by hand the outside. I couldn't turn the lathe on and sand it. Would never get into all them little creaks and crevices. Then we got to the point where it was my favorite part, adding the finish. And so guys, I like to use a brush because it really works in the finish. I have a wipe-on finish I also use as well, being that this Burl has so many cracks and holes and irregularities. The wipe on would be a little difficult using a cloth to be able to get in these holes. So I went with a brush, and that's what I like to use, and I'm able to then sand in between the coats and really get a nice thick layer of finish on here that protects the piece. I hope you guys enjoyed the wooden mushroom burl. It's my first kind of wooden mushroom burl, I gotta say. Beautiful, beautiful grain in there. And if you guys are interested in any of these pieces, make sure you go on over and visit my Etsy store and Facebook Marketplace. I'll make sure I leave the link to both of them in my description. And thank you guys again so much for your support. Spread the love, be good to each other, be kind. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you later, everybody.